Okay, we are live. It is the Black Friday Masterclass. We are excited that you are here. I'm Stephen Smotherman from Full Time FBA, and let me just introduce Kristen Ostrander from Mommy Income. We're going to hang out with you over the next 90 minutes or so, talking about Black Friday, answering your questions toward the end. So I'm going to hand it over to Kristen. Kristen, I'm excited. Are you?
I am fired up. You know that. I love Black Friday, you guys. And first of all, thanks for. I always love working with Stephen Smotherman. He is amazing. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to help co-teach this amazing Black Friday masterclass. I've been doing Black Friday since my kids were little, and they're not so little anymore. 17 years for both personal and business, and probably the last 7 I've been doing Black Friday shopping for business, and it's one of my favorite not-so-holiday holidays. I've always enjoyed the craziness. I've enjoyed the deal hunting even before it was online and you had to get the paper the day before and spread it out all over the kitchen table and kind of circle everything. So I've done my best to just make Black Friday amazing, and I get excited about it and fired up. And so I'm excited to teach everybody here everything that I can possibly know about Black Friday because it's so exciting to me.
Yeah, we love Black Friday. We both have different strategies when it comes to Black Friday, and that's the awesome thing about it. You know, there's different methods. In fact, in the Black Friday book, we talk about so many different strategies. You can kind of pick and choose. It's like a Black Friday buffet. You can kind of choose what works best for you. And we're going to talk about the ones that we like to do the most today. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. So I'm actually going to close my video screen, turn things over to Kristen, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about what she does, and we'll have some fun with that. So take it away, Kristen.
Perfect. Well, again, like I said, I'm really excited to be here and share all that I know about Black Friday, and we're going to walk through several ads so that you can see kind of, it's basically like a peek inside my Black Friday research of my brain and all those kind of things of what I'd like to do and what I do pre-Black Friday in order to put my strategies in place. I'm trusting and hoping that because you guys are here on the masterclass that you've read the book already, and that will give you a really good step up in what we're doing today, because I'm going to go over a lot of the similar things that we talk about in the book, but we're going to show you some things. So I'm excited to get started about that. But you know, some of the tips that I want to talk about right away is you have 11 days until Black Friday, and because of that, there's still this tiny, tiny window of time if you hustle, like get up tomorrow morning, go shopping, and ship everything out, that you can actually make money on Black Friday and still go shopping on Black Friday. So making sure that you're not going to miss out on those, you want to, you know, that's one of the strategies that we do beforehand is start looking at the sales right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we do pre-Black Friday, then on Black Friday, and then moving forward after that. So one of the first things we like to do is look at what's being advertised on TV. If you want to know what to buy on Black Friday, start looking and paying attention to the ads that you see. If you don't have kids, record Nickelodeon for a couple of hours, and you will see all the major toys that they are selling and want you to buy, and want parents to buy their kids on this Christmas season, holiday season. That's something that you want to look at. Honestly, my mom actually did this for a time, and even though she has grandkids, but they're not around, she's not watching Nickelodeon, but she's been pre-recording some ads and things like that in years past to say, hey, this is on sale, or this is, you know, coming up soon, or whatever. So that's one of the strategies that we start looking at right now if you have no idea kind of what you're looking for, where to look for that. So, and also just take notes on that, just a little bit of notes here and there, so that when you're going through your Black Friday ads, you might see something that triggers that memory. And this is making short work of it, you guys. I mean, watching, you know, 5 minutes of commercials, like for, you know, recording it even all day and fast forwarding to watch the little bit sections of commercials is really short work of doing some research. So making sure you do that. My other tip pre-Black Friday is to go to the stores that you plan on shopping this week. Okay, so making sure that you understand the layout of the store, where you're going to be going, what you're going to be doing, making sure, and if you don't know that yet, even a couple of days ahead of time. So maybe you're just seeing this, you're going to comb through your Black Friday ads in the next couple of days and you're going to get yourself ready. But until then, when you do that, find the stores that you're going to go to and see the lay of the land. If you're not really that familiar with it, where they keep their carts, where the bathrooms are, where they're going, because they're going to put things in different places. So become very familiar with the categories, with the aisles, with the places that you're at, that you're going to be after, because you're going to want to know where they're going to be setting things up. And on Black Friday, it's always different. They get new special shipments. They'll put pallets in the middle of like the clothing section, and they put stuff in the aisles. It's definitely mass chaos when it comes to that, but at the same time, you have to want to get familiar with everything that you're going in, the ins and outs, so that you know exactly where you can go and have like tunnel vision focus. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me today. I have been kind of sick, and so my voice is a little froggy, so I'm going to be sipping my tea more often than usual. Okay, so another thing that you want to pay attention to pre-Black Friday when you're looking through ads is see if anybody price matches. Okay, this can be a big money and time saver when you're doing Black Friday. Is looking at, I know Walmart in years past, I haven't not seen it yet on their ad this year. They might have stopped it, but it's something that you can do. There's a lot of managers, there's a lot of advertised prices that they won't match, like the doorbuster deals, but sometimes they'll price match in stock identical items of things they have. They want the sale. They want your business. So when you're doing retail arbitrage, making sure that you can look at the price matches. I know Walmart has been notorious for this. So look at the tiny fine print of every ad. That's another step that you can take. Another step that you can take in the middle of all of this is reading the fine print. I'm going to show you some fine print in a little while. I can't wait to get to some of these ads to show you. It's really exciting to me. But there are some that are amazing, and then some that you kind of read the fine print and go, oh, that looks like a good deal, until you like really peek into it, and then you see like, oh yeah, that's this price only after a mail-in rebate, and only after this, and only after that. So the price isn't so great right off the bat. So you want to make sure that you are looking and finding the fine print. Okay, so one of the research tips that I really like is to look at the ads to see some of the common threads. You look at, say for example, you're looking at toys, or maybe electronics, or even home goods, or kitchen supplies. Look across the board at what's on sale at all the stores in that category. So, that's one of the things I say too, is narrow your niche. When I do Black Friday shopping, in the years past, I have bought a handful of items. Almost 5 items or less. I just go very deep on the items. So I buy as many as I can of these 5 items, these 6 items that I've done massive research on. I've narrowed it down. I know exactly what I'm buying, as many as they'll let me buy, or as many as left or on the shelf of this particular item. Now, I'm not always suggesting that everybody always go so deep on things that they know, but it's based on research. So if you've done the research, you've done the math, you know that the item pays off and does well, and it has that Christmas arch that you see on Keepa, where it always, the price peaks and the sales rank peaks around this time of year. I trust the data that's there, and I go deep on certain things, and I go to multiple stores. I send teams, and we'll get into that strategy in a little while, in order to get those specific things. But I look across the board at the same thing. So for example, if Walmart has a specific Imaginext playset on sale, for example, I'll look at Kohl's, and I'll look at Target, and I'll look at Toys R Us, and I'll see who's got the best deal on this thing that I'm after, and making sure that I can find it at the best price, because this one might have the same price, but they're also offering an additional $10 gift card for every 100 you spend, or Kohl's Cash or something, and that might be an extra incentive to purchase later on, because it could mean free inventory. So making sure that you look at all the incentives that are involved. This is, we don't promise here that we're going to give you a get-rich-quick scheme at all. What we promise is that if you put the work in, you are going to find deals. So you have to do the research. That's just part of the game. So that's one of the things that I say, look at what's out there. Now look at Target, Toys R Us, Walmart, all these different things. And also, if you're going to be doing toys, I know I mentioned toys a lot, it's not all about toys. There's plenty of things to sell besides toys, and we're going to look at some of those as well. But one of the things I want to talk to you about that is, if you're not even sure exactly what to look for with those things, You can look at the big toy books that they have. So Target has one out right now. Toys R Us has one out right now. Also on Amazon, you can look at the Hot 100 list and start looking at the Keepa charts. Look in frequently out of stock items, because those items are a good indicator of a solid seller and often a sellout. And an Amazon sellout of a hot item is your ticket to profit. So if you see the Amazon's running out of stock every couple of days, even a week or two more, and they're out for 3 or 4 days, that is a big window of time for you to make profit on an item. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that. There is some risk involved because you never know when and how often Amazon is going to be in and out of stock of something, but the history repeats itself. You'll always see a pattern. If it's in and out of stock, and if you see something that's even in years past, you'll see, oh, last year this did really well during Christmas time. It was out of stock during this particular weekend. Black Friday weekend is notorious for Amazon going out of stock on something. That's why I've been preaching the past couple of weeks to get your stuff on the shelf, because you can capitalize on Black Friday when Amazon goes out of stock because everyone's buying online and all of a sudden no one can find anything, and this is your margin opportunity, your opportunity to supply and demand, up your price a little bit because demand and supply is up, and that's why we're in business. That's why we sell on Amazon. It's the supply and demand. It's keeping your prices up. So we've talked about looking at common threads behind every little ad and seeing what you're doing with the common threads. We've walked through looking at different ads and knowing, what's the best price on something else. So we're going to do that. We're going to walk through a couple of ads, and I'm going to show you some Keepa charts. I'm going to show you what it looks like to see that little Christmas arch that we're talking about on Keepa charts. And so we'll see how that goes. But before we get to that, we want to stock items that are frequently out of stock on Amazon. So we're definitely going to show you that. One more tip before we get to some of the ads that we'll show you is get your supplies ready, you guys. Okay, so one of the biggest things about Black Friday on the day, on your Amazon account, anything else, is timing. Timing is essential for what we're doing here. Timing in if you're going to do online arbitrage, if you're going to do retail arbitrage, if you're going to do all this, it's getting your stuff there first. Right now, Amazon is experiencing 7 to 10 day lead times. That means from the time it leaves your front door and goes to the UPS truck all the way to the warehouse and then it gets available for sale on Amazon is 10 days, sometimes 12 days. So what does that mean for you? It means that you've got to hustle this time of year. It means that if you're purchasing on Thanksgiving, if you're purchasing on Black Friday, that you're shipping the same or next day. I have done this for at least 4 years in a row now. We've gone out Black Friday shopping early wee hours of the morning, and literally we come home, have some Thanksgiving pie, and then we have some extra coffee, and we ship out same day. UPS runs on Friday and Saturday. So if you go to the store at 6 a.m. and you fill 5 or 6 carts, come home, take a tiny rest, and then ship everything out, because your extra lead time is someone else's gain. So making sure that whatever you buy on Black Friday gets shipped to the warehouse as soon as possible. Even another tip, I have actually sold things in my cart before I even paid for them. This is one of my favorite little Black Friday tips is you can use your Amazon seller app to list things merchant fulfilled while you're standing in line waiting to pay for your purchases. So you actually have your item available for sale merchant filled if you choose. Some people do not like merchant filled and they don't want to deal with that. Or some of you might have had such a new Amazon account that you're unable to send FBA at this time, or you can't get in toys, whatever it is. If you can merchant fulfill items, you can list them for sale on your Amazon seller app while standing in the store, and I've actually sold something out of my cart before I even paid for it. On a Black Friday, sitting there, because you're done shopping, you're kind of waiting in line, you have to wait your turn, and you can actually list things on your phone and make some profit doing that. So that's another option that you can do, but getting your stuff in on time. Buy your supplies. Today is November 14th. buy supplies, stock up, be ready to ship your stuff out. All these goodies that we're going to look through and find today, we're going to go through that. So buy on, we'll talk about when the stuff starts, right? Okay, so one of the newest things this year, I know years past, it's always been Black Friday at 5 a.m. That was 10 years ago when I used to do Black Friday shopping. It used to start at 5 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday, and then it'd be 4 a.m., and then it's 3 a.m., and now we're shopping on Thanksgiving. But even in 2016, now, some companies, some stores are opening their online doors on next Monday, the 21st. So Kohl's is one of those stores that are offering their Black Friday deals as early as the 21st of November. This is an advantage for you online arbitrage folks. Okay, so how do you get the very best deals from Kohl's online? You get them early. That means they arrive to your door early. That means that you can ship them out early. That means that you can, and you can already look at their ad. We're going to go a little bit through Kohl's ad and kind of show you what that looks like too. So thinking about those things, looking at the fine print and looking at the earlier dates that they have available. I know that Target is opening their doors to Cartwheel app users on Wednesday instead of Thursday, which makes me very happy because I don't love shopping on Thanksgiving. I love my family, and so I'd like to spend some time with them, and I don't really love shopping on Thanksgiving. I have, and I probably will. Our day is structured a little bit differently, to each his own. And how you structure your business and whether you do that or whether you don't is up to you, but I'm really thrilled that they're actually doing it earlier. That helps us Amazon sellers because the earlier we can shop, the earlier we can send in, the earlier that we can, get it there on time. So we just talked about don't run out of supplies, making sure you look at the fine print, price checking, price comparing across categories, stocking up on items now, looking at the frequently out of stock items. So those are some things that we're going to do. Remembering that the time is now. I don't mean to be pushy about that, but deadlines are everything. This is Q4. This is the time where most Amazon sellers make a bulk of their income. So we don't sit on inventory. We send it, send it, send it. So get that extra cup of coffee or whatever it is that perks you up and get it done because now is the time to capitalize on the Amazon beast is when everybody shops on Amazon, and especially during this time. So we want to make sure that we do that. Now let's talk repricers for just a minute. Now this is a debate a lot of people have about repricers during Black Friday times, and I think that if you're not used to a repricer, if you don't have one, I'm not saying you have to get a repricer. A repricer is a really excellent tool to use during Black Friday weekend and between then and Christmas, because using a repricer, the prices can fluctuate so quickly during this time. You want to make sure that you can go up and down, and that's going to be the same with your research. So checking back often. The research that you do today on November 14th would be totally different research that you're going to do 2 weeks from now. You're going to see different sales ranks. You're going to see different sell-through rates. You're going to see different offers. You're going to see different prices. Prices go up and down with supply and demand, and as a reseller, you need to keep your eye on the prices consistently. This is why we push the Black Friday book so early. This is why we push doing the research so early, because things can fluctuate. Something that's an amazingly bad seller right now could be a bad seller later on, or it could be a great seller later on, because right now Amazon could have 10,000 in stock, and then 2 weeks from now they could have 0, and that's your margin opportunity. So making sure that you're paying attention. Now with the repricer, you can set your limits and your guidelines and repricers, and it will change the prices for you, and that's the advantage. If you're not quite there yet in your business, then you need to manually keep an eye on your prices during this time, especially during Thanksgiving or Black Friday and that weekend, and especially on Cyber Monday. Paying attention to your prices on your store is going to be key when it comes to using a repricer or manually repricing. You can miss the price opportunity with Amazon going in and out of stock. So you want to make sure if you're quote unquote, kind of air quotes, I know, right? If you're timing the Amazon market, so to speak, and you're trying to hit that sweet spot when Amazon's out of stock of something, making sure that you pay attention to your price is where that's going to happen, because sometimes Amazon only goes on out of stock for 3 days. If you haven't checked your price in 3 days on that big ticket item that you're trying to sell for, quadruple your money, then you want to make sure that you're watching your prices like a hawk. So it's my suggestion to kind of get a repricer if you can afford one, or if that's something you're doing, and set those limits quite loosely for this time of year, because prices are so fickle when it comes to that. So, all right. Now.
Okay, Kristen,
Mhm.
before you jump into the next thing, I've got a handful of people asking a similar question.
Awesome.
They're all asking, how do you know what goes out of stock frequently? You need to know that an item's good in order for it to know that it sells out frequently. So how do we know what sells out frequently? Because that's the gold.
Awesome. I am going to show you, because that's exciting to me. All right, we're going to actually look at how we know things are out of stock. We're going to use charts like Keepa and Camel, and there's a couple of things that we're going to do in this next section that this is really the good stuff, guys. So get your pens and papers and see how we're going to do this, because this is what I personally do to get myself ready for Black Friday. When these ads come out, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to use our screen share here, and I hope that we can get. I hope when you guys show you here that this was. Oh, do I have the screen share button? All right, there we go. Sorry, I had to adjust my screen share there. All right, can everybody see that okay? Can I get a yes or something to let me know that you guys can see the screen? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, so this is blackfriday.com, okay? This is what I use personally to start looking at ads very early. So these have been out as early as almost 2 weeks ago, like the beginning of November. These ads tend to leak at that time, and this is where there's all the stores. So you can kind of look at their featured stores. You have Walmart and things like that here. You need to become very familiar with this website, otherwise you're going to be bouncing around all over the place. If you want to look at stores that aren't here, you go to the More button and you view all stores, and then it's alphabetical. You can pick from A to Z. We can go all the way to, W down here and see Walgreens, Walmart, things like that. So for that, that's what you're going to do. This is blackfriday.com, and it is one of my favorite places to go. Okay, so one of my favorite ads that I love, and I've been shopping Black Friday, is Target. So we're going to look at the Target ad, and we're going to walk through some of these things that we like to do on Black Friday for these. So they don't make this always that easy to navigate, and if you click on this ad at this moment, it's going to take you right to the Target website. So unfortunately, we can't really zoom in too much. This is kind of it, but this is Black Friday Target ad that we're going to be looking at, and we're going to show you a couple of things that we want to be able to be looking for when we're looking for these ads. So one of the things that I right away like to kind of just, if this was in my hand, which I am a pen and paper kind of girl, although I like the online ads because I can sit here and do all my research with open tabs and calculate prices and things like that, I also like to get the paper versions. I'm still old school like that because I can line them up side by side a little bit easier than on my computer screen. So one of the first things I like to do is kind of just peruse the ad. And if you go to the actual ad and it shows it'll show you kind of this grid view here, and it kind of shows, you might want to just jump to a certain page that, you think like there's some video games and movies and here's toys. And see, what I like to do right away is just browse and find the 50% off items, things that say 50% off or special exclusive sales. Those are the things you want to be looking for right away. Things that say 50% off or more Buy one, get one free items are generally a really good deal, depending on what you're looking at, again. But, those are the things that are the eye-catching items. Buy one, get one free, 50% off or more, and store exclusives. Those are the things that I like to do. So right away, I'm already seeing some of these things that kind of just jump out right away. And one of these is, they're looking at this ad here, and this is buy one, get one 50% off toys at Target. So let me jump to the next page. You can kind of just start seeing that almost all of their toys in this line, mix and match toys, top brands, all buy one, get one 50% off. Doesn't seem like it's just quantity limited, obviously no rain checks, but they don't limit your actual item purchase. And you can, look through here and see and start looking. And I found a particular item the other day when I was looking through this Target ad that I found very interesting. Now, this is the Keepa chart that I wanted to show you. This is a Matchbox, the garbage truck, okay, and it's $39.99 on Black Friday. And so I thought, what, that seems like a pretty interesting thing. And Matchbox has a good brand name. That's another reason why I like to look at these things. And these are all also says, okay, so that one's just saved $20. So I'd like to look at that on Amazon and see the Keepa chart on this one to see, is this a good buy? Stinky the garbage truck. There we go. And so if you'll see it here, this is our little garbage truck vehicle. It is a very, very good seller at 294 sales rank. Now this is $48.99 already, so this is the price. And now this is the Keepa chart that we want to start looking at. Okay, so we want to see if, number one, this is not available last year. So we will not be able to check it how it did last year because it's only been available for 147 days. But what we can see on the Keepa chart here is if we highlight it, it'll zoom in, okay? So we can highlight that, or we can go back to all the days. And we're going to highlight this period of time here. We'll see this little break is out of stock. So although that doesn't seem like a long time for out of stock, Amazon's gone out of stock on this item several times. And you also look at the number of sellers here. Now this isn't a course on how to use Keepa and Camo, but this is kind of an idea of what are you kind of looking for frequently out of stock items. So this one I wouldn't say is frequently out of stock, but it's been out of stock several times since its beginning on Amazon. So you want to look at some of those things and say, okay, what is the price when it goes out of stock? See, this is $56.99. I'm not saying that this is a good buy. It doesn't, it's just one of those things to be able to look at the chart and see, is this a good buy or is it not? So that's what you want to do. What I have installed in here is just the Keepa and Camel Chrome browsers, Chrome extensions, so that this pops right up when I'm able to see it. And so if you can zoom in on that area, you'll see it was out of stock for just a couple of days there. And that's your product margin opportunity. You'll see that, the ranking climbed a little bit because it wasn't available for sale for too many offers, and then there is also a price jump when Amazon goes out of stock. And you'll see a lot more of these during Black Friday weekend. So we're going to find something maybe that was on sale last year, and we'll look at the same thing. So this is another interesting find that I saw, this Wacky Track. Another good idea to kind of look at that there. I typed that into Amazon not too long ago, and found, I'll show you there. And I'll show you what's interesting about this. Well, it would help if I actually spelled it right. So you'll see what comes up here is the, let's see, Wacky Tracks. Yeah, it did Marble Run. Okay, maybe that's why it didn't come up there. Recently, I saw this on Amazon coming up, and it showed me that it was a very expensive and popular item. Maybe it's out of stock, and that's why it's not showing me. I wanted to show you because it was a brand new listing, and I was like, ooh, somebody got brave and created a brand new listing for this item. It has not disappeared, so we will move on from that. I was just going to show you that someone had looked at this on this Black Friday ad, and this was selling for $99, this Wacky Tracks Marvel Run. I can't, for some reason, find the ASIN for that, but I just wanted to show that someone created this and realized that it was even $50, and it was selling for $99 just a few days ago. I believe I was looking at this on Friday. And so it goes to show you maybe it's out of stock and that's why it doesn't come up in the search. I'm not sure, but at any rate, it has disappeared. But I thought that was somebody who was brave. They looked at this, they just created the listing, they just sent that in. Whoever that was, I'm proud of you, because that's what we like to do. If it's not available on Amazon, make it available on Amazon. Okay, I'm off my listing soapbox now. Okay, so going through some of these different things and seeing what is on sale and what has been selling 50% off or more. Now let's jump back to the grid view for just a moment, because I want to show different things as well. So that's toys. You want to kind of make a note of what's on sale there and how to use the Keep a Chart. But there's some other things. So maybe we can go to like home goods or kitchen. Here's another one. You know, you'll see something like this. This says save $50. So that's half off. I mean, although it doesn't say 50% off. So that's something that you want to consider, something that's 50% off. Remember, one of my favorite Black Friday tips of all time is that people like to spend a lot of money on Christmas. And not just a lot of little things. It's one of those things that's like, you generally don't get the $250, you know, I don't know, not at least in my household, and I haven't noticed that much, but, you know, you don't just generally buy your daughter a dollhouse that's, you know, the big, huge, giant Barbie dollhouse thing, just randomly. I mean, you might buy them a little package of Shopkins, or you might pick up your wife a, you know, little box of chocolates or something, but it's not like an all-out thing every day. People go all out for the holiday season. They save their pennies throughout the year or something and say, you know, I want to get so-and-so this big expensive thing for Christmas. So making sure that you don't miss out on the expensive items. So just looking at them, and that may be in your budget, it may not, but it's definitely something that people look at. So this kind of thing intrigued me, first of all, because I like cooking in kitchens, but some of these gadgets just make me crazy. So I'm like, what is that? It's the Anova Bluetooth Precision Cooker. So I wanted to look at that for a minute and look at it and see if people are actually buying this thing. And sure enough, they are. And here's this one and this one. So this one looks like Amazon's got it, and it's got between 18, you know, there's two different versions, so looking at the versions that they have there. Now, the Keep a Chart is what I want to see, because I want to know, is Amazon, you know, in and out of stock of this? Well, they've been out of stock here, and then looking at the price comparisons when they go out of stock. So this one's not out of stock enough for me, but if you look at over the course of a year, you know, you can look at, you know, this hasn't been available a whole year, well, this, I guess it has right here, but you know, you can kind of see this is Q4 last year, so you can kind of highlight that and see what the price went up to. So they're going up to $179, $180, but Amazon was never out of stock of that. So kind of look at this as Amazon's top choice. It has an excellent seller's rank. It is number 85 and number 1 in kitchen, and you know. So when you're looking at frequently out of stock items and you say, oh, I'm going to sell all the hot stuff, you know, you go here and you say, you know, Amazon's never out of stock on this, so unless you can get it for a really killer deal, which I'm not so sure that $99 is a killer deal necessarily. You're gambling at that point, because Amazon has it in stock a lot. So looking at this, I would totally pass, because you know, it doesn't show frequently that it goes out of stock on that item. So pardon me. Here's another interesting thing.
Kristen, do you mind if
Yes.
I jump in real quick?
Of
Okay, you were
course.
talking about the wacky tracks thing a moment ago. You mind if I hop on screen real quick?
Oh yeah.
All right. Hello. So I just thought for a second, one of the ways that you can find items that are out of stock on Amazon is, and this is a trick for everyone to know, usually Amazon hides sales pages of things that are out of stock, because they want the best user experience possible, and they don't want people finding things that are out of stock, so they hide those. But there's times where we still need that ASIN, still want to see that sales page. So one of the ways that you can do that is to type in the search bar what you're looking for, um, and then click the category that you're wanting to narrow it down to, because when you do that, a new little radio button pops up on the left sidebar, and it will say include out of stock items on your on your search. And so you can put in Wacky Tracks, and I think Wacky Tracks is with an X instead of it's spelled with an X, Trax. So if you put in Wacky Tracks with an X marble, search in the toy category, then you'll be able to scroll down and say include out of stock, and you'll find that page that you're looking for, and then you can show us what it was that you were wanting to show
I
us.
found it. Yay.
Awesome. All right,
Thanks.
so
I didn't know if I needed to actually go through that. I thought we can just skip over it. I didn't want to waste anybody's time
I'm
looking
sorry.
at something that wasn't there, but I really appreciate that. Okay, so I did find it just by him telling me that just this moment. So let's show the screen here. Do you see it now? Well, you don't want to see that out of the way. Okay, so you guys see it now? Yay, Wacky Tracks. Okay, so this is currently unavailable, and so although it shows that it was in stock at $120, then $104, then back to $99, and then the sales rank jumped the other day apparently, and then it's back up again. Why? Because it's out of stock. So this tells me something. This doesn't have a very long life right here, and it's selling at over $100. So that is a Wacky Track. Somebody just created this listing. This is like your BOLO of the day, right? Hey, if it's selling for $99, it was $30 Black Friday at Target. So that's one of the things that I want to show you there. So thanks again, Stephen, for that. So now we see, I'm like, I'm not totally crazy. I did look this up, and I thought it was a really cool piece. And this goes to my thing about people spending a little bit extra money. And yes, this thing's going to be bigger and a little bit more bulky. I'm sure it weighs probably 10 pounds or so. No, 7.5 pounds. You see that down here. But this is a brand new listing, and it has already jumped a couple of times in sales rank because it's made some sales at $100, and that's, on a Black Friday price, that's a good deal. So looking at some of that. Now, I wanted to look at this for a moment because, not everybody's all about those toys and some of these big things. You start looking at brand names of things that don't go on sale very often or brand names that you're used to. So, looking at this Rachael Ray 14-piece cookware sets. A lot of cookware sets go on sale on Amazon. So I want to look at that for just a minute and see if that is even something. Look at the Keepa charts from last year. See if this is the new product. Rachael Ray cookware. This is probably going to give me way too many options. This is live, people, so bear with me. Okay, so you want to see the exact one that we're looking at here. Is the 14 pieces. Double check. This is one of the things you want to make sure you're double checking as well. Porcelain, enamel, aluminum, non-stick, 14-piece cookware. So making sure you're looking at the exact thing, because that could be a big mistake that you could make if you're doing something like that. So you want to look at the different ones that they have. This is looking at a 10-piece. There's a 14-piece here. This is a different one. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the right ones. And it's looking like that might be the one. So anyway, we want to make sure we're looking at the same type of things, making sure, because this is one of the mistakes that I don't want you to make on Black Friday or at all, is that this would look essentially like a good buy, correct? You look at this and you say, oh, look at this red thing. It's $236, and on Black Friday it's $89.99. But if you look a little bit more carefully, you want to make sure it's identical. And so if you see some of these little pieces here, it's a 14-piece set, but making sure that it comes in the same set, because you'll see here this comes with a spatula and something else, and so they may have changed it from the years past. So you want to make sure that you look at it the right way. So maybe either you're missing the listing or it's not the identical thing. So here, as soon as I typed in red, this is the one that comes up, and that's 12 pieces. So don't always brush by it so quickly that you don't see what's actually out there. So I just don't want you to make a mistake like that on Black Friday. Say, oh, you're doing your research and you think it's fine, and then you get to the store and it's something completely different. So maybe this is the right one. And so I see here that these seem to be the similar ones. So you want to make sure you're checking that. And if it is, then looking at the different colors and looking at the different styles are going to make a difference in which one sells the best and which one doesn't. And looking at the Keepa charts as well, and looking at when it goes out of stock, how often, and then what it sells for. For example, this blue one. The blue one seems a little bit harder to find. It seems to be out of stock, and when it goes out of stock, boy, look at that price. $225, 190, that's a pretty good price hike when people are paying attention. This is what I meant about paying attention to your prices when Amazon goes out of stock. Amazon had it, 99 bucks. Oh, how about 200 instead? Because they're out of stock, and that's when you get to capitalize on the margins. So making sure that when you're doing even on online arbitrage, with Target, these are going to be available a day early according to their website. So just making sure, and this picture might not be the actual one that you actually see in the store. So that was one of my Black Friday tips as well, is please do your research ahead of time and then look at things like this. Look at multiple colors. Oh, I know that. I really want that to be able to click through. I want it to go to Amazon. So making sure when you're looking at these things here that you're getting identical items, because we don't want to make the mistakes of that. But also look at the not so common colors. So you saw that there was a blue there that went up in price. That's another thing that you can be looking at as well, is things that are just things like that, or in store exclusives. Some certain stores might, everybody might have this Rachel Ray, but maybe only Target gets the cobalt blue color or a specific color that they have. So the stores might have exclusive color rights to different things. So that's another thing I wanted to look at, is special buys or store exclusives to kind of get familiar with some of the stuff there. Excuse me. There was one other. Okay, so right here. This is something I found interesting because I'm seeing these all over the place lately at Costco and everything else, these giant teddy bears. And you can see here, this says Target exclusive. So yes, you've seen giant teddy bears everywhere else before, at Costco, Sam's Club, and even on Amazon, everywhere else. And they're a big hit. They're also very big and bulky. That is one of my favorite things about Black Friday. I buy a lot of big and bulky things. Why? Because most people are too lazy to do that. Most people are not, they don't want to, okay, lazy might not be the right word, but people are just, they want to get in, they want to get done, they want to get fast. They're kind of overlooking some of the giant items that are out there. They're too big, they're too bulky, there's always any kinds of excuses. I particularly like to go where the flocks aren't going, because that means more profit for me. So I look at really large things like Power Wheels cars, which I'm going to show you on the Walmart ad, and things like this 3-foot teddy bear. I mean, what are you going to do with a 3-foot teddy bear? Well, let me show you on Amazon just a little sneak peek about giant teddy bears and see why I'm willing to go the extra mile to do things like this. So you'll just see what's out there right now. Now, because this is a Target exclusive, you would probably have to create the listing for it, as you see here, unless you see it. But look at what these things are selling for. This one's 30 inches. This one's the huge one that they have at Costco or whatever. But some of the things that you can look at here is that they're selling. Here's a very similar one. It's got a bow. It's got the same type of feet that you'll see on this one. I mean, it's a different product, but you'll see kind of, hey, do these things sell? Because this is 10 bucks. And you'll look at it here and you'll say, okay, it's very similar. Would this thing sell? And believe it or not, look at this price and the sales rank. These things fly off the shelf, you guys. And so what does that mean? That means that, are you going to go the extra step and take the extra thing to create a listing? Did you know that you could create the listing now and have it be inactive, and as soon as you purchase it, you can add your photo and you can send it in the same day and have it be live, and there's no excuses. So it's just another thing that's putting it out there. I love to see people creating new listings and making money when they can. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, there would be a higher fee for something like this, but like I said, it's lighter. Well, it's a little bit lighter weight than you think. I don't know how much it weighs. It says 5 pounds. So it's 5 pounds of plush. Yeah, there might be a little bit higher of fees, but it'd be interesting to see this price during Q4. So look and see if the price goes up at all. I'll again highlight this little section here and see a more in-depth look at the prices, and certainly jumps up to $59.99 during this December period. So, you know, it commands higher prices during Christmas time. That's the little arch we're talking about. The step up in price and the step down in sales rank goes all the way down to 1,000. Those are the products that you're want to look for with that little Christmas arch there. That's the little arc down, or the down step, or however, you know, and camel, it looks like an arch more, like kind of goes up around like this. So it's one of those things that we're looking at with the price going up and the rank going down. Those are like my two favorite splits right there. It's like price is up, rank is down. That's a great product. So this is just an example of one, and there's lots of different varieties on here with these giant teddy bears, but obviously they do pretty well. So it's one of those things that I would consider, because it's a store exclusive. So if you're heading to Target, it's one of those things that we look at. Walmart themselves has some store exclusives as well. Okay. So let's look at, I want to go through Walmart really quickly to kind of show you what they've got in store for you as well. Because Walmart has generally, and this is what we're talking about earlier about price checking, price matching and things like that. I have yet to see the Walmart price match on their grid view here. I don't know if that's the right click there. Okay, so you'll kind of see what they have here. I want to look at the grid view really. Different stuff that they have. There, that's the one I wanted. Okay, so again, we start here on this page. We get the grid view, and we kind of can jump to some of the things that we think are pretty cool. And like I said, the cookware. You know, we looked at the cookware, and I want to see if Walmart has anything very similar, which in fact they do. They have a different brand, but you know, across the board you're going to see these kinds of things on sale. You know, and here's the Pioneer Woman's cook set here, and you know, we can look at that and we can see, is that a better deal? Is that a better, you know, we'll save time by not doing that at this moment because we've already looked through some of these. But you know, that's what I mean about category versus category, is looking through and saying, okay, you've looked at the Rachel Ray one, you've looked at Amazon has this, now let's look at this Pioneer Woman one and see if that's something, you know, that has a good, you know, let's just for fun, let's look this one up. I haven't even spent much time. I don't usually go to Pioneer Woman cookware. Okay. So you'll see that they have the 15-piece set. Is that what this is? 27-piece set. Okay, so that's stepping up in the world there. And see if they even have it, because it might be one of those exclusive items that they don't even have. Okay, there we go. $350. That's insane. For $89. You know, if that's the same kind of thing that they're offering, which it looks like it's in this blue and it comes with 27 pieces, that's a great deal. And if you look at it here and say this is in red, so you could add a variation, add your own listing, but $300, I don't know, seems a bit pricey to me, but, you know, it's just one of those things that you can look at across the board and say, do these things do well? This obviously has not been for sale for very long, and I don't know if the regular price is on that. But just, this is the kind of research that I do over and over and over. I compare ads, I look at prices, I say, okay, that's a good one. That could be very well selling for $89.99. This is the different one than the Wacky Tracks that we looked at, because with the, oh, that's not the right one. Okay, with the Wacky Tracks that we looked at, what was interesting to me about this is that it was a brand new listing, but it already had a sale. To where when we looked at the Pioneer, see, this one had already had a sale or two. So it showed me that it had some traction. So where this one is kind of a new listing, it's only been up for, looks like, just a day or a couple of days. And so it's not really a thing. So this is something I might put on my product tracker and see between now and Black Friday if it actually gets a sale at this price, because it seems like a fairly new listing. So it's just one of those things that I look at when I'm going through some of these ads. looking for. Again, let's go over that again, the quick list of what you look for in an ad. You look for, 50% off. You look at buy one, get one free items. You look at store exclusives. You look at oversized items. Now this is one of my favorite things. And if anyone here was on the Black Friday class last year, I showed you one of my favorite things to buy on Black Friday. I purchased them myself and made a couple $100 each on them, is I like to buy Power Wheels cars. Okay, so if you'll see something like this GMC Denali is $99 at Walmart, and of course they usually have limited quantities. The boxes are huge. I actually Frankenbox them and send them into Amazon, and I actually they usually go up in price. So if you look at some of these, I'll show you the one that was here last year, and it was, I think it was a 6-volt or Power Wheels. And toys. So hold on, let me find it for you. I want to show the one that I purchased last year if I can find it. It was similar to one of these. I think it might have been this one. Was red. So here's this toy Audi car, Power Wheels. It's $99 at Walmart. Well, this must not be the right one because it doesn't have the keep a chart. But something like this. These are notorious for going up in price to $600, $700, $800 over the course of a year, of the course of that. So, $299 there. There's plenty of wiggle room, even with a large price cost. So, yeah, this is 40 pounds. Let me show you the, just to kind of show you what it looks like with the fulfillment calculator. So this is the Fulfillment by Amazon revenue calculator, and I'm pasting the ASIN in here to kind of show you, yes, the fees are high with these kind of items. So this is $299 right now. Last year, one of mine peaked for $375. Excuse me. And your cost is $99. You're making almost $100 on this product right here. It's $97 in net profit coming back to you. They take a good fee out of there. It's about a big healthy chunk. About $100. So it's kind of the 3-3-3 rule. This is why I'm willing to push huge Power Wheels stuff across the Walmart floor. Sorry, I just caught a glimpse of one of the questions and I thought it was super funny. I box those. So I know it seems like that's kind of crazy, but it comes in its own box. And what I do is basically kind of cardboard wrap it. So I will put it inside another box. And yes, this takes time and energy, but what will you do for $100 to $200 profit on one item? We Frankenbox, which is what I mean. It's just kind of like wrapping something in cardboard. And I kind of wrap it tight because I don't want the item itself to get damaged, and I don't want to put a shipping label on the item because I just think it compromises the integrity of the item, and I wouldn't do that with that. But a lot of these things on these pages, people are avoid, and it's not for everyone. I understand that, but it's one of my personal strategies for Black Friday, and it's what I do because it works. And I like to get. Last year, I think we bought 5 of the Audi cars, and about $200 profit on each one of them. And I was at Walmart for an hour, and my husband helped me, and we kind of just slid them across the floor, put them in the minivan, and headed home. We weren't really even there that long because everyone else was kind of there for all the smaller stuff. We kind of went in there and said we want all those, and it was kind of an in and out done deal. So that's the kinds of strategies that we wanted to talk about, is looking at some of these bigger, more expensive items. I mean, $99 for some of these different cars, and they have them at different stores. So check them out. I found that Walmart seems to have the best price on some of them, and people are willing to spend this kind of money at Christmas time. I think even the Denali police one went up to $700 last year on Amazon. So that's another one of my personal strategies, is going after really large, oversized items, because you saw right there that the fees are worth it to do that. I mean, for me, it's worth $100 to kind of wrap some cardboard around that big box and send it in. Um, so let me stop the screen share for just a minute. And okay, you see me now, or do you see my screen? We're still there? What do you see?
You.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. So just give me a second to kind of run through this last couple things. I just want to hit on um, some of the strategies. So when we're looking at ads, this is exactly what I do. This is exactly what I've been doing for these ads myself. As a matter of fact, I already have making a list, checking it twice. I already have my list ready to go for my Black Friday shopping. I've done it. I've been checking prices every day to kind of see the in stock and things like that. And this is the process I walk through. I say, oh, let me look at that. This is half price. Let me see it here. Oh, they have it half price plus a $10 gift card here and there. We're going to look at a couple more, but I wanted to stop briefly really quick and see if there's any major questions that we can answer about what we just walked through.
Well, let's see. I got a list of some questions about what we just talked about. Someone was asking about tips for shipping oversized items, and I know you talked about Frankenboxing, and thanks for clarifying that. For a lot of people are like, what's that? What's that? And it's just a lot of fun. You get to make your own box, basically, and it's a lot of fun. Someone asked about so aren't there more fees for selling oversized items, shipping oversized items? How do you handle the added fees?
You put the price up a little bit more. The truth is that you've got to do a little bit of research on some of these. I have kind of made myself a little bit of a Power Wheels expert, Black Friday shopper kind of thing. I mean, I've outed it, obviously, but I'm not really worried about that because there only are a handful of these in each store. They only get shipped 4 or 5 because they don't have the space for that. So it's a lower competition item, because people don't want to, they're afraid of fees and they're afraid of things like that. Build your price on the fees. If you just, in the next couple of days, look at some of the Power Wheels that are out there, compare the fees, go to the FBA calculator, see what you're going to pay for these. I can promise you one thing based on my experience, that $99 for one of those Power Wheels cars is generally a steal. If it is the large, bigger size ones on Amazon, usually the minimum price for one of those is $300, and they just go up from there. I need even one last year that I believe it was one of the Cadillac Escalade, something like that. $759 was the peak price for that. And here was myself going, oh, I should have got that one. It was, because I watch these things. And yes, there's added fees. As you can see on the one that we just showed you, the fee was about $100. But the profit's $100, and you only paid $100, so that's double your money. And that's one thing, and yeah, it's going to take you about 15 minutes to make yourself a box for that item, but this is why we try to do these things that are outside the lines, because most people, they just rush in, they want to get all the little Ninja Turtles because that's the biggest hot selling thing, and I'm over here like, hey honey, can you help me push these little Audi cars out the door, because I want to do things that people aren't doing, and that's why we're sharing our strategies with you, because we want you to be doing things that not everybody else is doing, so that you can find your profit nuggets a little bit better.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of oversized items, buying them, shipping them, selling them. If you are afraid, just pick 1 or 2, try it out this year, so that next year you can have the confidence, because you'll be looking back on things. Buy a few. If you're even too scared to buy them, just pretend buy them. Just write it down on a piece of paper and then check the sales prices come December 10th. There are parents who want their kids to come down the stairs Christmas morning and see this car that's parked in their living room, and their kids go crazy and get excited, and they will pay top dollar for that, and we are providing a service where they can't find it in their store for them to find it on Amazon. So don't be afraid of that. Yep. Another question that we had was about the big teddy bears. Someone was asking, do you need to polybag those? How do you send those? If it's not already bagged, yes, you do need to polybag. And just bagging it. We say poly bag, that's a fancy term. I actually use this. I use from Home Depot the extra large clear trash bags, lawn trash bags. And this, I mean, this thing is so huge. It will, it will
I
take
was
care
just
of
gonna
your
suggest
big.
that.
And guess what? I franken bag this too. I was not just cussing, by the way. No, I franken bag too, not just franken box, because I'll take two of these, one on each side, tape them together, and they're poly bagged, and then I can put them in another box to send it to Amazon. So,
Absolutely. I always look at it like there's a will, there's a way. I kind of like a challenge, and I'm all about getting things into the smallest boxes possible. So I'm always cheering and frankenboxing and putting stuff together because, like, hey, save the cardboard. Yeah, and especially with plush, yeah, you need to do that with plush. But I can tell you from personal experience, I'm trying to share with you guys, the best strategies I've used personally. I mean, these are things that I've purchased in the past personally that have done really well for me, in particular. And so it's worth creating the listing for. And a lot of people think, oh, creating the listing, that's going to take so much time, and then you're not going to get there. Like I said, you can do it right now. You can actually create a listing that's inactive right now today with all the specs, and then tweak it really quick and send it in so the ASIN's ready to send in. You actually don't even have to upload. I learned this from Amy because I was always like ready to make sure it was ready to go. But Amy said sometimes she doesn't even upload her picture because it's still in transit. So it doesn't even need to be, a picture doesn't need to be there until it's there. So she, is very good at multitasking and doing all that because I'm thinking I have to wait for my pictures and all this. She's like, no, create the listing, send it in, and then put the pictures in while it's in transit. I'm like, yay, time saver. So that's another thing as well. Okay, what
yep.
else?
Someone said, have you run into battery restrictions with the Ride-On toys?
Nope. Never had a problem so far. I sell
Yep.
many, many, and many sizes, 9 volts, 12 volts. I've actually even sold the batteries themselves. Now, some of them get restricted from Amazon. I think it depends. It's like the it depends category. But the boxes, the toys themselves, I think in the oversized warehouses, I've never had an issue.
Yep. A lot of different questions about how much does it cost to send those items in. Well, obviously, it's going to be depending on how small you can get your box and how much it weighs. It's going to cost a little bit more, but it's as long as you work that into your profit margin, you're going to be okay.
Well, and something like that, it has enough of a profit margin that you can wiggle on that. I mean, if you spend 20 minutes shipping in a Denali or an Audi car, and you have to spend an extra $5 on shipping, you'll have $95 profit. How long is it going to take you to process 100 things for the same $95 profit? You never know. So weigh the pros and cons for you. Maybe you don't have the back strength to lift up a box like that. It's just these are suggestions. There's oversized items in every category, not just toys. So consider other things that other people just won't consider because they think it's too much of a hassle.
Yeah, and regarding the Power Wheels oversized ride-on toys and stuff, do you know if any of these are available online and can be picked up in the store the next day? I think with that question, you can search it should say online if it's available in a zip code near you, so you can find that out for yourself. But that's a good strategy to be able to buy it in your pajamas and go pick it up the next day.
Yeah. And again, check because sometimes I've looked at Walmart or different places like that, and they'll say it wasn't available for pickup for like 7 or 8 days. So it's almost like having it shipped to you, and it's like, I'm not so sure. So make sure you double check when they will make it available for you in store pickup.
Right. Yep. A few other questions that I think we could come back to at the end, but I feel this is a good time to keep on rolling.
Okay, so and this is where I was going to ask you, Stephen, for a little bit of your input. I know there's a lot of questions about the online arbitrage aspect, and again, I'm not an expert at that when it comes to Black Friday because I'm the in-store person. So if you could just give us some great pointers and tips about doing online arbitrage for Black Friday.
Yeah, a lot of people just assume that Black Friday has all the deals and that there are no other deals that can be made or they're just not as good. They might be okay, but actually on certain items, Black Friday does not have all the best deals. You're not going to find the cheapest deals. Some of the items, it's actually cheaper the week before Black Friday or, Tuesday before Black Friday. It might be cheaper on that day, and it's still on sale on Friday, but it's, a little bit higher because the stores understand that, 'cause, 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 the stores understand that, they want to make money every single day of the year, not just Black Friday. Of course, they're trying to take advantage of Black Friday, and of course, even on the ads that you see right now, it's like Black Friday sales all month, and you're like, really? I mean, is it really going to be that great? Well, if you know what you're looking for and you take the time to look for it, then you're going to find it. So here's my biggest tips when it comes to online arbitrage for Black Friday. Number one, try to get on as many newsletters, email newsletters, lists that you can get on. You might be thinking, oh, that's going to be just a ton of spam, and they're just going to be hitting me. But this is, I mean, they're giving you the information that you're going to go through and find. Some people think it's like a needle in a haystack, but really, it's a lot easier than that. You're going to be able to go through and search online and be able to find items that you can sell on Amazon for some good profits. Now, if you don't like the idea of giving your regular personal email address to 20 or 30 different stores, then maybe go to Gmail, set up a different account, and just do Stephen Q4 Hustle at gmail.com or something like that. That's not a real email. Don't email that. But and just check that one every day, and that way you don't have to worry about spam. You know that's just your email address to get the deals, and you'll start getting the sales sent your way. You'll get special coupons that are only available to those on the email list, and you'll be able to find out what's coming up soon. A lot of times they'll send you, hey, a new sale starts in 2 days. Be ready for it. And some sales are in the store, but most of them are obviously online. I use a couple different tools when it comes to my online arbitrage. I know Kristen earlier was talking about the Keepa extension. I use the Chrome Google browser. I've got the Keepa extension because I don't make any of my sourcing decisions based on hope or just guessing. I want to use the data that is given by Keepa and do my best to project the future, so I'm able to make smarter sourcing decisions that way. I also use there's other tools. Some of the tools cost money to use, but there's tools like OA X-Ray, which turns a online sales page into a spreadsheet with one click of the button and finds all the Amazon sales pages, and you can figures out the sales rank and the profit margin and all that type of stuff. I use that and love it, and there's a couple other ones too. But those are the best ones that I've found. Kristen, do you have any other tools that you like to use when it comes to online arbitrage?
Well, I like, of course, Ebates and pre-buying gift cards, and that kind of is one of the things that's going to be, in our next segment when we talk about preparation for the day. And this is in the book as well, but I just wanted to touch on it. But that was one of the things that we do is pre-buying gift cards for things that we're going to be spending on. If we're waiting, this is a perfect time to do that as well, because you have a lead time to be able to do that. I mean, sometimes people are doing online arbitrage, they find a deal, they want to do something now, they want to save some money, and then the gift card that they get is not available for 24 hours for whatever reason. And so you want to make sure that this time you have enough time to buy some discounted gift cards, look for coupon codes. I'm always looking for free shipping, so I always want to know where the free shipping threshold is. My number one OA tip for this particular time of year, and only this time of year unless you're in a big hurry, is consider the upgrade for faster shipping. So a lot of companies, a lot of websites will say, hey, standard shipping is free, or this, 7 to 10 day ground shipping is $7.95. But for $14.95, you can get, 3-day air for your whole order. Consider the price per item to cost to get 3-day air. Why? Because timing is everything in Q4. Yes. And so weigh the cost into your margins and say, hey, I saved 3% on Ebates and I've got a discount gift card, so I'm going to pay the extra for the extra fast shipping so that you can get it on the Amazon shelf faster, because it doesn't do you any good while it's in transit. So making it faster is one of my, I'll pay for an extra shipping upgrade if I need to.
Yep, that's a really good tip. I actually had not thought of that one, so I'm going to add that to my arsenal of strategies. I like that. But yeah, definitely using discounted gift cards. Just be sure that you know what kind of discounted gift card you're getting. Some of them can only be used online. Some of them have to be used in the store. Some of them they'll email you. Some of them they'll mail them to you in the by the post office. And so if you're wanting to be able to get that in time, that makes a big deal. So be sure you know what kind of gift card you're getting. But yeah, it's really good. to be able to do that using Ebates, because you're already going to be online anyway. Might as well get paid to do it. I also use a Chrome extension called Honey, which basically Honey goes in and searches all the different kind of coupon codes everywhere and then gives you the best one automatically. So that's one of the things that I love to do. And there's a whole bunch of them, but those are the main ones. Yeah, Retail Me Not is a great one for coupon codes and discounts. But again, the sales when it comes to online arbitrage are amazing before Black Friday. They're also amazing after Black Friday because, again, stores want to keep making money. So keep looking and keep searching. Everyone's looking for a quick shortcut, but of course, anything that's worth doing takes some time. And so you have to weed through the items that are duds to be able to find your diamonds. And when you find your diamonds, guess what? You can try to go to as many stores as you can, or order online to buy those items and have them shipped to you. And there's some stuff where we'll order it, and right when we get the shipping notification, we'll order another one because they've got limits and stuff, and so we're trying to stack it to be able to make the most of these opportunities. There's times where we buy something on Monday but before Black Friday, and we're like, oh, this is an awesome deal, and then on Wednesday before Black Friday, it's even better, so we buy some more. And then, there's Thursday and Friday, Black Friday, and then the following week, it's Tuesday, it's even better. And we're like, this is the best. I mean, it's awesome. So don't just assume that once you buy it, that's going to be the best. Continue following up, and you'll find more opportunities that way.
For sure. And one of the things I do want to talk about, segmenting a little bit is, the pros and cons of both of them. I think we both touched on that a little bit is, I'm much more of a retail arbitrage person when it comes to Black Friday because I want to get my stuff in as fast as I can, because even now, depending on how late Black Friday is, sometimes Black Friday is late. I believe last year it was the 27th maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was later on, and then you're thinking you're well into December by the time you actually order something online arbitrage, get it to you, and then get it to Amazon. You could almost miss that sweet spot of, I call it, December 10th through the 20th, where it's just like, kind of, I feel like I'm out of stock on everything, and I, missed the boat again, So, just making sure that timing is everything. So yes, paying attention to that, and if you can afford, or it's worth it in your margin to pay that extra to get the super fast shipping or in-store pickup. Like I said, that's another option that some stores actually do. So just looking at the advantages and disadvantages of both and trying to figure out what works best for you. Because, of course, online arbitrage is a lot sexier, I guess, when it comes to, like sit in your pajamas, have your cup of coffee, click a couple buttons, it's the good life. But reality is that that can come at a cost as well, and so sometimes you got to strap your boots on and get out into the world. I mean, I'm not advocating for one or the other, to each his own thing, but when it comes to Black Friday, that's kind of why I get my hustle on, because I like to get it in and get it on the shelf. And I've already got, I can't wait for Cyber Monday this year, because last year was so great because I did this stuff ahead of time, right? So we're doing this ahead of time. You guys still have time. After this, you should be heading to the store tomorrow, shipping it all out, and then sit there and go, yes, I'm waiting, because it'll probably get there on time. Next week, you have about a week or so before really the big bang kind of happens, and you have time to do that. So a couple more strategies. We'll take some more questions, and then we're going to wrap this thing up because you guys are armed and ready. I'm going to talk about my strategies as far as what I do when I go, kind of building my team. A couple more. Okay, before we did that, I'm going to show you two smaller ads, because I wanted to just touch briefly on the fact that you don't always have to go to the big box stores in order to capitalize on Black Friday. There's so many smaller stores. Think regional. Think stores that don't. If you're not going to be online, think about stores that don't have a huge web presence. Your drug stores, your things like that. You hear a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, I killed it at Toys R Us, this and that, and whatever, and I'm over here like, but I killed it at Walgreens because there was no line. And so I kind of wanted to walk you a little bit through some of these smaller stores and not to skip them, especially if your budget's a little bit tighter. You want to look for, some of the smaller stores. So I'm going to show you my screen here, and we're going to look at just two smaller stores really quickly. And I want to just show you that there's money to be made, not even in big, crazy, get trampled on stores, and stores that might not be even open Thanksgiving, where you feel like you're going to miss all the deals, but actually have decent deals on other days. And so right here, you'll see this is Walgreens, and they have 50% off gifts. Now this is a new thing because usually they do just 50% off toys, which is what I love because they have some really good name brand stuff. And they also, and they don't have the trample factor, is what I call it. You know, it's a smaller store. No one's usually beating down the door at Walgreens to get all their goodies. So it's a great time to get some of this stuff at a smaller store. And then you've got this 3-day shopping pass, 25% off on regular priced items. So that looks like to be your entire purchase of regular priced items, 25% off. Yeah, so think about your other stuff, you know, health and beauty products, things outside of the Q4 realm when you see 25% off. I bet each of us can name something that's like never on sale. Like no matter what, it's only like 5% off or something. You never see it on sale hardly. This is your chance to get those few and far between items up 25% off. So you can just go through ads like this and you can see, you know, the different pages that you know, see if I can get the grid view. There we go. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but you know, you look at the things like 50% off here, 50% off electronics, buy one get two free. I see something right. That's just the things that are jumping out at me at the moment. Buy one get one free. Extra points, 50% off here, and I believe they had a gift card that was like if you here it is. Okay. So this is free money. Who doesn't like free money? Google Play cards. This one here was very interesting because it says $10 free Walgreens card when you buy $30 or $50 on iTunes. Well, $10 back on 30 is better than 10 on 50. So, you know, if you're buying these anyway, why not get $10 free? So it's just something to think about with some of the smaller stores. And another one I like to look at. You know, so if you don't have a big budget, maybe you only got $100 to spend. I don't know, but you know, you don't want to fight crowds, but you kind of want to get your hands dirty. Dollar General is another place I tend to like to go because it's, of course, not big crowds. They're doing 20% off iTunes gift cards. So that might be something that you'd be interested in for personal use, or you know, maybe it's a gift for your kids. I don't know. Maybe not for resale, but you know, still something that they show there. You know, if you want, if anytime you can get free money on stuff or discounts on things that you normally can't, that you normally buy, don't forget yourself on Black Friday or your household. You know, I tend to buy personal stuff like socks and underwear for the family that's buy one get one free on Black Friday, or winter coats. You know, so don't forget those things as well. And then this one, buy one get one free on all as seen on TV. This is the one that intrigues me the most at Dollar General because this stuff usually holds its own price. They have kind of prices that they hold, and they sell them in a lot of different places, but buy one get one free can be a huge deal there. And then I believe on they have buy one get one 75% off on all toys, and they actually tend to have some older toys, so it can be older out of stock items that could command higher prices. I found some old wrestlers there before, ones that they haven't sold in a couple of years, some different stuff. So I wouldn't spend a ton of time at these smaller stores, but it's sometimes little honey holes that people forget about, and this ends up being what, 37% off. Buy one get one 75% off. So that's a decent deal for a toy. Better than buy one get one 50. You know, that's 25% off. So that's another strategy, is just don't skip the small stores, or you know, not think about things, or think about things that are regional. I like to go to Meijer as well because they don't have that throughout the country. It's just in the Midwest. So it's good for me to be able to look at those things. Okay. So now we talk about the strategies of, now you know where to go because we just went through all the research and looking at the Keepa charts, and we kind of narrow down what we think we're going to buy. So now what? So what do you do to prepare for the big day? It depends on your business model, and depends on your family or employees or whatever. My personal strategies, I always bring at least one person with me, and I've in the past sent out teams of people. So if you're at a point in your business where you don't want to do Black Friday shopping, then $10 an hour goes a long way with teenagers, even $12 an hour, depending on what you can afford to spend on that. And skip the shopping altogether. Give them the SUV and send them out with a list and prepaid gift cards and tell them where to go. And I usually do a team. I like a team of 3. I think 3 is very helpful depending on what you're gathering, especially when I'm trying to haul Audi cars and, you know, things like that. one person stands directly in line. So if we go in a team of 3, one person goes directly to the back of the line because it's always ginormous. And the other 2 hunt for carts and hunt for product. So carts are hard to come by. It's like a rare commodity on Black Friday. Everyone wants a cart or 2, and it's the time of year where normal people have 2 carts instead of just resellers. So it's just one of those things. Is carts are kind of hard to come by. So I have that second person looking for a cart anywhere. If they can find 1 or 2, that's great. 1 would be for me, but if you find 2 carts, you give the empty cart to the guy that's standing in line, and you take your cart and fill it up, and then trade them and say, here, give me my empty cart, here's this full cart, and they're standing in line while you're going to gather some more products. So that's kind of how our team works. I have one of the persons is designated, that would be me in a lot of cases, to kind of go, I'm going for the hunt, I'm getting the product, that's the thing I'm doing, and the other people are kind of just like your team aides, your team assistants of how can I help you get a card, and where's the other product, and Kay, can you find this, and you can ask this question, and is this the right thing when you've got the ad and stuff. So taking a team, if that's not possible for you, or if it's just one person, a line stander is the best thing for you, because standing in line is such a waste of time sometimes, when you could be out shopping, or you could be, finishing up your shopping, and then all of a sudden you're at the front of the line. So having someone stand in line for you, I think, is, even if you can get somebody to do that for you, is, very much worth it at the very least. And prepaid gift cards, if you're going to send out a team and you're saying, hey, I've got nothing to do with this, but hey, if you're willing, can you go to Walmart and pick up, 3 Power Wheels cards for me? Here's the Walmart gift card. This should more than cover it, and I'll give you $50 or something. Figure it out to where it works well for you, and have them stand in line for you, or just whatever it is that you can do. I think a team effort is really important. And of course, this book and this masterclass came with these amazing checklists and these preparation guides, and if you guys haven't downloaded those and printed those out, those are my lifesavers when I go. I'm a pen and paper person. I know there's apps for everything, but I'm all about, this is like my notes for today, like pen and paper and color and Sharpie, and I need to see and write and things like that, so that's just for me. So having someone standing in line with an empty cart, so you can kind of, or not, maybe not empty, because people are like, why do you have an empty cart? Can I have that? Putting some stuff in it, trading them. Sorry, that last question just caught my eye, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. That'll be, I can maybe address that question. We'll get to some more questions in a minute. And thinking beyond toys. Okay, so I know a lot of you might be like, oh, I don't know anything about toys, I don't want to know about toys. Just remembering with some of the strategies we talked about that you can look at other things. Don't forget about, people collect so many things this time of year. Everybody knows everybody that is somebody that collects something that you're like, oh, so-and-so collects these, I should get them one for Christmas, and then they have 25, Coca-Cola magnets or whatever it is people collect. So don't forget those people, that those things might not be on sale, but they might command a higher value. I know a couple of years back I bought a few glasses as like a commemorative set of mugs that were like The Simpsons, and I don't care for The Simpsons, it's never been my thing, but I know people collect those, and they're like die-hard fans, and they were regular price, but they ended up skyrocketing because they were kind of limited edition type things. So making sure you kind of be on the lookout for those things and see if there's sales on those. Don't forget warm weather. I know Stephen in Texas is very comfortable right now, and I'm over here like, where's my mittens? I'm freezing. But don't forget hats, gloves, scarves, warm weather stuff, ice picks, snow shovels. These are things that go on sale on Black Friday that, people are going to start buying, and not just for Q4, but in general, that's a winter thing, not just Q4, and winter lasts far too long up here, so it's not like it goes away after December 25th. So keep your mind on things like that as well. Clothing is a huge, huge, huge seller on Black Friday. We're talking 75% off in some cases. Buy one, get one free, 70% off all sweaters, some places like that. If you're in clothing and shoes, take a look at these items. They're big sellers. Don't just think about toys. I know I showed you a lot of stuff like that because that's kind of easy, and toys is something that it's not gated, so I don't love to show a big class like this gated categories all the time, because I just feel like that's unfair for the people that are gated in certain things. But clothing and shoes is huge. Look for the licensed stuff, character stuff, things you can scan with the barcode scanner. Different things that are buy one get one free, like socks and underwear, and things that are packaged, belts and accessories. I mean, these things sell really well for the Christmas time too, because people are trying to get all spiffed up and they want family pictures and they want ugly Christmas sweaters. I don't know. So just thinking about those things as well. Don't overlook parties and entertainment stuff and kitchen stuff and hostess gifts. I mean, there's gifts for everybody, so don't overlook those types of things when you're doing your Black Friday research. There's so much that you can sell. There's probably way more you can sell than what you can buy. So it's time, I think, to maybe take a few more questions, and then we're going to kind of wrap this up and hopefully get you guys on your way to start Black Friday shopping.
All right, we do have some really good questions. Someone was asking, we keep talking, when you were talking earlier about repricers, they were curious about, what kind of repricer you use, what kind of, settings that you have. I know every business is going to be different, and so, but just to give a pretty general idea about repricers and how that's good and maybe not good for this time of year.
Well, I think repricers can be important at this time of year. I've actually been messing with Amazon's pricing, automatic pricing targets that they have. You can set your highs. This is something that's free, so you can set at your highs and your lows, and they'll adjust. Sorry, I'm already falling asleep over here. No, they can adjust your prices already for you. So if it's something that you're looking at as a free option, I know that people that have a lot of SKUs tend to enjoy App Eagle a lot more. Is that? Am I saying that right? I've never used that one.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
I know that a buddy of mine has raved about it. He even sent me the link. So he's like, "You got to try this." And I said, "You don't realize that I don't have as many SKUs as he does." And I thought, paying, that was a hefty price. I think it was like $150, $200 a month for a replacer like that. But consider the math. I am I say a basic math nerd when it comes to my data and my profits and my things like that. I can't do algebra or calculus, but I can do ROI, margin, profits, dollars and cents. So that's the math speak that I have. And I always want to know, what's the bottom line? Is it worth my time and effort? And one of the things that you want to look at with that is it worth $200 to spend in, or I don't know exactly the App Eagle price, but maybe $150, $200. But if you have a lot of SKUs, is that worth it to spend that extra money, because maybe you're going to make $150,000 in Q4? And if you think about that, that's like 1% or something. And people spend more than that at Starbucks in a month sometimes. So think about what you're spending. I mean, people are so afraid, like, oh, $150 a month. Number one, you're not committed. You can get it for just the month of December if you want to. It's got a learning curve. A lot of them have a learning curve. You have to set up your rules. We're not going to sit here and talk about how we set all those up. I mean, that's to each his own. Everyone has their own formulas, and it's a learning curve. So picking it up in mid-November, this is something you want to think about maybe earlier on to kind of get used to a repricer before we get to Q4. So that's kind of a few months back. But if you're just doing it manually, that's fine too. You want to look daily, and sometimes just a few times a day, 15-minute hustle. Go in there, set your clock on your phone just to say, hey, repricer, and set your Google Calendar to go off 3 times a day. Go in, check on some few key products, because every single thing is probably not going to be super competitive. Maybe there's a couple of things you're staying competitive on. So if you don't already have a repricer, I wouldn't be my professional suggestion to jump into one at this moment, because it's a big learning curve to do repricers at this time of year.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is not the time to learn something new. This is the time to maximize the knowledge of what you have right now, and then your New Year goal could be, hey, I'm going to learn repricing and rock it even better next year. But right now, find as many things as you can to send to Amazon that are profitable, and focus your time on that. Definitely. I got a few questions about how deep do you go? How do you make sure you don't go too deep, that if other people are finding these deals too? And someone asking about, you said that you sometimes focus on just a handful of items when you're going outsourcing. So how do you handle buying decisions when it comes to the quantity?
Okay. So great question, and it's one of my favorite ones. It gets me fired up and excited because I've spent a lot of time um, doing this. I've spent a lot of time on Black Friday shopping, and here's the reasons why I'm telling you to go for the bigger items, because I've been here and done that. I've been burned, I guess you could say. I've gone deep on some things that, you know, years past in the glory days when you could sell Lego without restrictions, or things like that, where I've gone for like the big popular stuff, and I've bought, I've been able to find the elusive products and ship them into Amazon only to see the price just going down because it's a supply and demand. We don't excuse me, we don't really like to talk about price tanking because it's a supply and demand. It's not personal. It's nothing against you if the price goes down. It's not like, it's just a supply and demand. Price goes up, quantities go up, price goes down. It is just the market. And so the sooner you learn that and don't take offense, the better off you're going to be. What I love about the bigger products, especially now, we're talking Black Friday, so remember that. This is not just like across the board, even, in July and April, we're talking about these things. But in general, on Black Friday, this is one of the reasons why I kind of push the oversized items pretty heavy, because quantities are very limited. When Even if every single person on the planet that was a reseller was going into every single Walmart out there, there's only going to be 5 Audi cars per store. It's the same thing as the PlayStation 4s or the Xbox, brand new Xboxes or whatever. Their quantities are very limited. It's an expensive item. They only get a few. And so, number one, there's a couple of things that you can kind of just guess at. There's going to be regular customers that might want to buy a couple of those. People, not resellers like me, that want to, buy them all. And then there's only a few quantities. So I put my trust in that. Like Stephen said, we don't base this on hope. This is based on data. This is based on the fact that for 7 years in a row, I sell big giant Power Wheels on Amazon because I know some of them can go up to $700.
Mm-hmm.
And so would you, I can consider that, and there's fear, and there's fees, and there's heaviness, and there's all that kind of stuff. I am more comfortable with a risk like that than I am with buying 100 units of the hottest Shopkins item only to see that Amazon never goes out of stock again, and I'm going to lose money.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big bummer to me. I'd rather, even if these Audi cars that I buy or these big Power Wheels items that I buy, even if I have to cut my margin in half, I'm still making $50, 50% ROI. That's still a win. I'd rather win than lose money. And so when it comes to going deep, I can go as deep as I can for quantity limited items. Again, same thing with the cookware sets. I've had very good experience with cookware sets over the years, with different brands, different stores, because they don't usually have a lot of them. They might have 10 per store, but they don't have tons and tons of backstock nationwide of the same little thing that's kind of going on sale everywhere. So with limited quantities, you can kind of only go as deep as you can go. But when I do find those things, I do go from store to store and get as many as I can with the budget that I have.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love oversized. My highest sale ever on Amazon was an oversized toy, like humongous, like take up the whole back of my minivan toy, and I even sell it as used, even as like sell it for hundreds of dollars used. But so don't be scared of oversized. They're your friend. Like I said earlier, if you are scared, test a few out this Q4 and take it easy. You don't have to go all in with fear. Just try it out, see how you feel about it, and the next year you can have a little more comfort with that. Another person asked, do you sell kids' bikes? I personally have not sold kids' bikes, mostly because they don't come in a box. Most of the time, oversized toys that I do are already in a box. So do you do any kid bikes?
I have done bikes that are boxed, so probably like the preschool, toddler type bikes. Right now, well, I've been eyeballing one that's at Target, and I'm hoping that it goes on sale on Black Friday. It kind of says like quantities vary or styles vary, so I don't know if that particular one's going on sale, but there's a couple that are already boxed that I would do, but I have never sold an actual bike that's already assembled. I mean, that'd be a new one. I think you'd have to box it and then box it, right? I mean, it's possible. Hey, If some assembly required, you take it apart and put the parts in a Ziploc bag. It's like IKEA for bikes.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh boy.
And so yeah, I've never actually sold a bike that's put together, but hey, but there's a will, there's a way. If you can make a Frankenbox for some of the stuff I've made, you
Right.
can certainly do that for a bike.
Yep. Someone else asked, we can only be in one place at a time. Do you shop all day?
Personally send teams to different places so that I don't have to be in two places at once. But if you're flying solo, or if maybe it's just you and a hubby, or you and a kid, or you and a friend, or whatever, this is, please don't make fun of me. This is like legit real what we've done before. We've put a mattress in the back of the minivan before, and we have taken turns, like taking a little bit of a nap. Yes, I have all day shopped before. And this was like before they did like the Thanksgiving thing, where you have to be up at 3 a.m. You're waiting in line for something, or you're there when the doors open, and then you want to go to like all the different places. Yes, I have taken a nap. I've gone home and taken a nap and come back out and shopped. Lots of times if you're away from a different area. What's the cost of a hotel room? I mean, if you're going out of town or out of the area to shop because you're maybe live in a rural area, what's it worth to you? Is $89 a night at the, Holiday Inn worth $1,000 of profit that you're going to make? I mean, just consider those things side by side and figure it out. But if you are flying solo, I bring snacks, I bring water bottles, just things like that, things that you forget about, you just get tired, or, gum, or, just get, whatever. I have comfortable shoes,
Oh yeah.
dress in layers, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. Yes, I have worn myself out doing Black Friday shopping before, but now I have a little bit more teams because I want to capitalize on the timing.
Right.
I send people.
Yeah, and that's, and if you aren't comfortable with doing teams yet, again, do it yourself this year, and maybe next year have yourself and another team. 2 years from now, have multiple teams. Take it in baby steps. It's definitely doable. And Kristen was just kind of going through a list of things. Comfortable shoes, water, gum, snacks. There's a whole list of things in the Reseller's Guide to Black Friday that will help remind you of some things and some, your checklist bonus. A lot of good stuff to help you out with that. I had a couple questions about returns. A few people fearful about returns on high-priced or sale items. Maybe it's after Christmas and you get a return because somebody, finds an after Christmas sale and decides they want to, return and get their money back. How do you deal with return possibilities when it comes to some of these high-priced or large items?
That's interesting because I actually have more returns on lower priced, high demand items
Me too.
than I have. I have never had a Power Wheels car returned.
Yeah.
I have never had a Barbie Dream House returned. I have never had an oversized item returned. In all of my Amazon career, I've never had anything returned. I think sometimes Amazon helps you out in that department somehow, some way, either if there is a return, but I've never had to deal with one. Honestly, the brands are pretty solid, I think, most of the time, unless you're kind of buying an off-brand one that's kind of cheap. But most of them, they're higher priced for a reason because the integrity of the product generally holds.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually never experienced that, so I guess I hope that calms your fears a little bit. I have more returns on things like Elsa dolls that the price was $28.99 and now they can get it for $9.99 and they would just want to return it, or things like that. Like the same thing with Halloween costumes. I had 5 adult expensive Halloween costumes returned the day after. Not one kid one, but I had them returned, and I know they were brand new and packaged and then worn and then returned right after Halloween. It stinks, but it's part of being in business. Walmart doesn't cry every time you bring something back to them because it doesn't work or you don't want it, and so we can't either. We have to just figure out a way to get rid of or sell off or donate the things that come back in returns. I mean, yeah, it's a scary thing, but that's my personal experience. I've never had. Have you ever had anything very expensive, ginormous returned?
I haven't, no, and I don't know if it's because of the fact that, man, it'd be a pain for them to actually try to ship it back to Amazon for the large items, or if it's The fact that they're like, I already spent this, and I'm just going to. It was worth it for me at the time, and they've talked themselves into it. But I've never had any large oversized item or expensive item that's ever been returned. I take that back. There was one item that was returned, but they never actually returned it, so I got reimbursed for that. So they started the return, but they never got around to actually returning it. So I got reimbursed for that. It was a happy ending. But speaking of happy endings, just because an item is returned to you doesn't mean that's the end. Kristen said you might be able to sell it again. You can sell it as if it's a toy, you can try to sell it as collectible like new or collectible used if it's still working. You can try and sell it on eBay, Craigslist, Facebook, buy, sell, swap pages. It's still a possibility to be able to sell those items. Kids have birthdays all year round, so after Christmas, sales of toys don't stop.
That's right.
Yep. Another question here. We'll start to close things up, do a few more questions. I want to respect everyone's time. Someone says, does anyone ever get mean about standing in the about your line standers?
I probably get dirty looks occasionally, but I just don't necessarily think about that. I try to be kind and cordial. I kind of have just as much right to stand in line as anybody else does, whether I have 3 carts or 1. It doesn't really matter. I have my place in line, and I usually have someone there with a cart. And we're not the only ones who do it. There's a lot of people that do it. I've seen people that aren't resellers that actually go and have, their husband stand in line or their kid or somebody because they're out shopping and they know the line is long. And I've seen people bring wagons and strollers and push carts and stuff their own. I mean, some of these people are experts. Right. I've been learning. So, those are the things to think about. There's always going to be that somebody that's a little snarky here and there. I guess part of that I want to say is, remembering that, you're not being a greedy hoarder. You are putting food on the table. This is a business. This is something you're doing to better your life, to feed your family, to put food. For me, it's to put food on the table and clothes on my kids' back. So I don't have guilt. I don't consider myself a greedy person. I'm kind to people. I'm helpful. I've even let people pick stuff out of my cart because it was the last one.
Right.
Be kind. Kindness goes a long way. And there's going to be people that are going to be dirty looks and snarky and whatever, and you just have to smile and wave and, keep your integrity intact and just keep on pressing on because you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, we're not doing anything wrong, and some people I've had even email me having like moral issues, like, is this wrong to buy something for this low and sell it for this huge amount? And it's like, no, people are going to pay what they're willing to pay. There's supply and demand. It happens throughout the United States, throughout the world, and we're providing a service for people who aren't able to be there shopping on Black Friday, to be able to get the deals. They're sleeping in their nice comfy beds while we're out shopping Black Friday or whatever, and we're doing the work for them, and they're willing to pay the higher price for those items. So before we go, I did want to say a few things. So there was a few questions about some fears about restricted items, restricted brands. Amazon lately has been adding new brands to the lists of brands that they are restricting sellers from being able to sell on Amazon, and that causes a little bit of fear, anxiety, uncertainty. And so how this relates to Black Friday sourcing, one thing, just always make sure you double check before you buy anything if you're approved. You can't even see that very well. Go check out the Amazon app, and you can check and see if you are approved to sell the item that you are wanting to buy. Just double check that before you actually go out and buy it. And some people are like, well, what if I buy it and it becomes restricted? There's always options. There's eBay, the Craigslist, other options like that. And that's also a good reason why not to go too deep on an item, being able to purchase items that go a lot wider than deep, and so being able to lower your risk, because that's all what it comes down to. It's about assessing risk. But overall, the only thing you can do is make the best decision based on the knowledge that you have. So you want to get as much knowledge as you can, know what's restricted, Double check to make sure that the items you're wanting to sell, that you're approved to sell them. Double check the condition, because some people are approved to sell in new condition but not used or collectible. Some people are approved to sell in collectible and used but not new. And so just double check all of that. And then make the best decision that you can. Amazon is restricting a lot of these brands to help protect the customer experience. They've had experiences with counterfeit, other experiences that have been negative for the customer, and they're just trying to protect. I am surprised about a lot of people who email me or send me a message and say, everything I source is restricted. And I'm like, no, the amount of items that are restricted are so small compared to what's out there in the Amazon catalog and what's out there that's profitable in the Amazon catalog. There's plenty out there. I don't think there's anything to fear as long as you just take the time to check on that. So those are my thoughts about brand restrictions and going forward with Black Friday. Kristen, did you have any thoughts to add?
That's really about it. I do have one more brief thought, and it's just we don't operate on fear. We're in business. There's data to be collected. There's research to be done. You guys have 10 days to do, I guess 9 days or so, to do research before Black Friday hits us. Some of the sales are going to hit next Monday. You've got 7 days. You've got, you're here. You're listening to this, and that's your, a step ahead of the game. We've walked you through some ads. We can't operate our business on faith, on fear, rather than having faith in the data. We need to have our faith put in something that shows that these are good buying decisions. That's why we have the data. We have Keepa, we have Camel, we have eBay, we have Google. We have these things that show this is a good buy. Don't let fear stop you, especially when you've done your homework. If you haven't done your homework, then fear is going to be natural because you're kind of just all over the place. You're not sure because you haven't looked. But just taking the time to really go through the processes and learn these things and practice them. I mean, there's hundreds of ads that you can be looking at here, not just the ones that we've showed you. I mean, we didn't even get time to look at the Kohl's one, but Kohl's is just another great thing. My last tip too is, because we didn't get to the Kohl's one, is read the fine print. There are a lot of things this year at Kohl's that coupons don't apply, and the fine print says, this is $9.99. Yeah, but there's a $12 mail-in rebate that you won't see for 3 months, and you have to cut the barcode off the box in order to get it. That's the same thing with Macy's. So
right.
making
and that
sure
makes the item not new anymore.
pay attention to those things as well, and just do the research and do your homework, and then it's just another fun day to score some really great deals.
Definitely. I've been seeing a lot of questions in the question area that are they're not actually questions. They're just thank you so much, great stuff. This has been awesome, and so thank you all for your encouragement. Kristen, did you have anything else that you wanted to share, get off your chest tonight before we head out?
No, I just appreciate every single person that has purchased this guide and this masterclass, and I hope that you are armed and ready for Black Friday. And Stephen and I really appreciate that. We know that you can hang out with any old buddy in the FBA community, and there's lots of people to learn from, and we're humbled and honored to serve you with this information, and we're glad that you came to us to further your knowledge bank.
Yes, and this whole webinar has been recorded. Instead of the register for the webinar section on the download page, it will be replaced with this webinar link to the replay. Once it's done, it will be completed sometime in the middle of the night. I'll be able to upload it tomorrow, and we'll have that link ready for everyone to be able to watch. So if you started halfway and you want to catch the replay, you'll get that. We'll also send you an email letting you know that the replay is ready. So thanks again for hanging out with us. There were some questions we weren't able to get to. Some of them were kind of general Amazon FBA questions, so we wanted to try to stick mostly to Black Friday stuff. But I know that both Kristen and I Periscope from time to time. We might take some of these questions and address these on Periscope. So follow Kristen Ostrander at Mommy Income on Periscope, and me at Fulltime FBA, and we'll have some fun talking about some more of these topics. So we're going to end this right now. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Have a great day. You have a great night. Rock Black Friday. If after Black Friday is over, after all these sales happen, send us an email. Let us know about your success stories. We'd love to hear about your success stories. And don't forget, every year, whenever we update this book, you get the free, a download, free webinars. Continue to do that. So next year, you don't have to ask if you get it. Yes, you're
Lifetime
in the club.
customers.
Yes, yes. So anyway, y'all have a great day. I'm gonna end this now. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.